A reading from the letter of Paul to the Colossians. Brothers and sisters, put on as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If one have a grievance against another, as the Lord has forgiven you, so must you also do. And over all these put on love, that is, the bond of perfection. And let the peace of Christ control your hearts, the peace into which you are also called in one body. And be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, as in all wisdom you teach and admonish one another, singing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs with gratitude in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, in word or in deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God our Father through him. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Under the blue skies and golden sun of Nazareth, a bronzed man, clad in white, set up a picture. Now, it was not a European painting, although he himself was French. All its bright, even primitive colors shone brilliantly against the wall of a shabby hut in the garden of the Poor Clare convent. This was the day that Charles de Foucauld took possession of his dear cell, as he called the rough shed he chose to make his home. The Poor Clare nuns had agreed that he might live there while he acted as gardener and handyman at the convent. He was known to them as Brother Charles of Jesus, a pilgrim who had asked to pray in their chapel and to make himself useful about the grounds. No one but the superior of the sisters knew that he was a titled nobleman from an old French family who had himself won acclaim as an African explorer and writer. His first act, as he confided to his journal, was to dedicate his little cell to the Lady of Nazareth, God's mother and his. On arriving, my mother, he wrote in his journal, I consecrated this dear cell to you. Your picture was hung immediately, and I wrote in large letters where all could read again and again, Our Lady of Perpetual Help, Lady, Mistress, and Patron of this place. Where had he met the Madonna of this icon, known to all Christians in the Eastern and Western Hemisphere as our Mother of Perpetual Help? He knew that this image of Mary was created by an unknown artist on the island of Crete during the Middle Ages. It was painted in watercolor after the Byzantine style on a piece of hard wood, 21 inches long and 17 inches wide. Compared to the other icons of Our Lady, our Mother of Perpetual Help has characteristics that make the painting more attractive, artistic, and instructive. For example, Our Lady's head inclines toward her son, a feature that lends to Mary's posture an appearance far more tender and compassionate. To her beautiful face is added a most profound sorrow, an effect produced by her half-closed eyes, indicative of the shedding of tears. Greater differences appear in the portrayal of the divine child. The position of his body is so unique that this picture that is not found in any other. The child turns his head outward, where he is seriously and attentively contemplating some object. His body is so artfully bent toward his mother's breast that these two appear as one. Both his hands are folded in his mother's right hand. His legs are crossed, and his right foot, protruding out suddenly from under his garment, strikes the left with such shock that the left sandal is loosened and is about to fall. In all these details, there is a wealth of symbolism. But the main charm of the painting for Charles de Foucauld was the motherliness of the mother, the confidence of the child in her help. For Brother Charles, the appeal of our Mother Perpetual Help is the appeal of the child who, in suffering, throws himself into the arms of his mother, especially at a period of great desolation in his own soul. In one of his reflections entitled Considerations on Feasts of the Year, Brother Charles writes, "In this time of great pain near Christmas 1893, not finding where to hide myself, fearing to be defeated by the devil, I placed myself more completely in her arms. I took myself to the heart of the Mother of Perpetual Help, and I placed myself in her hands as her child, her property. I begged our Mother Perpetual Help to carry me as she carried her son, Jesus, when he was an infant. Not where I wish, but where she wishes, for the greater glory of God, according to her will, she who reads all hearts. From this time I considered myself as yours, O Mother of Perpetual Help. My joy is to think that at Rome, the first building into which I entered was the principal church which has dedicated to you on earth, O my Mother, St. Mary Maggiore. And the second building was the Church of the Redemptorist, where is exposed your miraculous icon, O Mother of Perpetual Help. Then also the last church of Rome where I set foot, the last where I, on the day of my departure for Nazareth, assisted at Holy Mass, received Holy Communion and benediction, was the same Church of the Redemptorist. Like Brother Charles, we have all by our devotion to Mary discovered her motherliness in the icon. But do we have the same confidence that Jesus has? To throw ourselves into her arms, to place ourselves in her motherly hands as her child, as her property, and tell her to carry us as she did her son Jesus, not where we wish to go, but where she wishes to take us, knowing that she can read our hearts. May Mary, Our Lady of Perpetual Help, be the lady, the mistress, and the patron of our homes and our hearts.